what we've done for Shiba Inu is a complete reset. We have dropped down to some levels we haven't seen in a while. And yet, despite that, there are actually some things working in SHIB's favor here. So I do want to talk about, obviously, the poor price performance, not just from SHIB, but around the crypto market, what triggered that. But there are some things that people need to be aware of here as well that are, in fact, good. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. It's been growing like crazy, and it's all because of you guys. So I'm not going to sit here and say that price is awesome right now. I would love for things to be a lot higher, but unfortunately, this, we'll call it, barrage of negative news has obviously impacted the charts. The first signs of escalations abroad sent the market into a bit of a tumble. And then obviously news yesterday that the US struck Iran, did some bombing on nuclear sites. That made the market even more uncertain and caused some questions and caused some retracements in the market. And basically what we saw was, ETH got drugged down, and it caused some fits for SHIB and other ERC20s, frankly, most assets in the space. And what it has to do with, again, is a lot of that uncertainty from retail. Now, what I will say is ETH BTC has dropped to some good levels of support. This is actually kind of technically great, we'll say. I'm not saying it's good, but the fact that we're coming down, touching the support, getting a couple bounces is great. And actually looking at last market cycle, like I did in my ADA video earlier today, it shows that we might have a little bit of a relief bounce ahead. That's awesome, and hopefully it plays out, but we'll have to just watch, wait, and see. Now, SHIB has done a full reset here. And what I mean by that is we have hit a zero on the daily stochastic RSI, all right? We are now oversold on the RSI itself. But that has actually led us to kind of this bullish spot here. And why I'm saying this is, guys, we are actually building some hidden bullish divergence in terms of Shiba Inu. You guys can see the bottoms dropping on the RSI. You can see the bottoms rising in terms of price. That is a sign at a bullish reversal. I guess I didn't look at the weekly, but in terms of weekly, we don't have it playing out on the weekly yet. We would need RSI to be just a little bit lower. And maybe that comes at our weekly close here, but this is actually a technical bullish sign for Shiba Inu. All right. And I will say this, despite these liquidations in the market, we're kind of seeing a little bit of balance from everything in the space. First of all, we had $714 million worth of liquidations over the last 24 hours. And most of this has, in fact, been long leverage liquidations. It's, unfortunately, the negative news has been winning. The bears have kind of been winning here. It sucks. It is what it is. But what I will say here is, in terms of Shiba Inu, and I shouldn't have jumped to that other page because now I got to scroll for it. But in terms of Shiba Inu, this about 9% imbalance is very similar to other assets throughout the space in terms of leverage. All right. So what we're seeing is, again, bears kind of creep in, shorts open up positions, get very close to price. And if we do, in fact, get a little bit of a recovery bounce from here, then you could actually see some short liquidations and see price move the opposite direction. Not saying that's going to happen for sure, but there are, again, some good things that are building around the crypto market. We'll have to wait and see what happens as the day progresses. But, this ETH bleeding versus BTC has obviously caused some negativity here. And actually, I'm going to talk about something else here in just a moment. But let me just take a look quick at BTC dominance, because, guys, BTC dominance did, in fact, hit some cycle highs. It sucks. It's very much at the point of overbought. And historically, this has been where we have seen some significant drop-offs, where you've seen altcoins actually take a leg. On the stochastic RSI on the daily as well, we're at a very high range. We're at 100. And what that might mean is, guys, this is very much an overreaction from the market, retail freaking out and capitulating, and that tends to lead to a pivot in the market. We tend to move the opposite direction from there. Something I wanted to show in terms of USDT dominance here as well is we did in fact just get this flip here, and it's looking like we're about to get a bearish cross on the daily stochastic RSI, meaning that USDT dominance may in fact start flowing back the other way. So risk on assets like Shiba Inu could in fact see a little bit of a bounce here. Not saying it's going to happen for sure. I'm not saying it's going to even be a big one back to where we were in the middle of the week. But, when there are these big overreactions from the market, then you tend to see things, eventually move the opposite direction, whether that's today, tomorrow, the next day. We'll have to just, unfortunately, watch, wait, and see. But, technically things are, we'll say even, right? Yes, the news is bad. The charts have some bullish formations playing out. Prices have been sucky for a while, but what we're seeing is kind of priced in already. It's kind of a mixed bag of crap. We'll call it that. So the biggest thing I can say is we just have to be patient. We have to watch and see how the market reacts, especially as we get into the week, especially when the stock market opens. That's going to be the biggest thing to watch here, but we'll see what happens. So appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Show your love below. Let me know your thoughts. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.